Hello, hello everyone. Welcome to the second Dwarf Fortress Crash Course tram. First of all, I'm quite pleased with the success of the first one. Actually, I didn't think um, it could be so relatively popular. I got 38 unique viewers. And before I took the stream off Twitch, I got to 68 total views, which is mind-boggling for my standards. It was quite impressive, so thank you very much. And I was eager to do a follow-up as soon as possible. So here we are for a late night stream. We'll pick up where we left last time. Before doing that, let's go to full screen. Here we are. Lazy new pack. There are a couple of things I'd like to say. Now that you've seen the game, by the way, if you missed the stream, the first stream, the VODs is available on my YouTube channel, which is Rico Wakomaster, and you can find the link on my Twitch page. And I divided the stream into smaller chunks so that you can skip straight to the part you'd like to watch. What else? Now let's briefly see a few more things about the lazy new pack. Here on the options, there's a population cap and stripped population cap. This is why by default there's a soft and a hard cap to the fortress population. This is mainly due because of the of how taxing the game can be on your machine, on the CPU in particular way. Hey Kevin, thanks for dropping by. So yes, there's this cap. There's another thing I'd like to say. There are some milestones we could say. The game checks for the current population and current citizen number for particular events. For instance, once your fortress reach 40 citizens, it becomes a small village. So, for instance, you get a mayor elected, and it suddenly it gets attention from the outside world, which could be good attention, such as trade routes and economy agreements, trade agreements, but also it can suddenly pops on the radars of the nearby marauding armies, such as goblins or necromancer's towers. So this is usually a sign when you need to start build on your defense and such. You can manually try to avoid reaching the cap. As I hinted in the first stream, you'll get some migrant waves, so more citizens from the outside world who heard about your fortress and want to live in. So you're bound to increase your population that way. If you don't want to be too big too soon, you have to manually reject them. um, Otherwise, you can change the value here. So if you set it to 39, for instance, and you already have 37 citizens, you get a migrant wave of 2 eventually, and then stop. So it's a soft cap. It You can still go above the cap, for instance, with childbirth, or for accepting new citizens who arrived as travelers, for instance, checking your tavern or your library and so on. Uh, so you might want to change this to prevent. For instance, you can change to 39. Okay, so you don't have to manually expel people to stay below the cap. Okay, this is more a quality of life things. It's not a cheat. Okay, because you if you want to stay small, you could do it manually. Just you have to check every migrant wave and expel all the new people. Okay, so you can set straight the soft cap and forget about it. Okay, so this is also for our play role playing purposes. If you want, for instance, your fortress to be just a small outpost, a tavern, or a small farm. Okay, you can fix this so to prevent overpopulation. Okay. um, for instance, I usually use this as try to stay small. Eventually you'll need more people, because there's so a small population can do so much. Okay, there's so much that you can do with little dwarfs, a few dwarfs. So at some point you go over that. Then you have and the strict population is the hard cap. So you can't exceed this even with childbirth. For instance, if you set it to 40, okay, and you have population of 39, you can have one child being born in the fortress and then stop. Okay, visitor cap, how many visitors can pass by your fortress. If you have a tavern, if you have a library, an open temple, we see this tonight. Temple petition and guild size. These are when you have enough dwarves of the same faith or doing the same profession, they'll ask you to build a temple or a stable, a guild house. So you have the minimum size is 10. If you have 10 dwarves with the same faith or practicing the same profession, 25, they require a bigger temple or a bigger guild. Okay. Other things you might check is this Kevin's weather, artifact, temperature. Okay, this is basically if during war creation or later things this event might occur. This, yes, the normal game has yes or no, and if you put no, it's more like cheating. For instance, cave-ins, if you select no, you won't have cave-ins, which is cheating. Okay. Then we already went with the graphics. Utilities. Tonight I show you Dwarf Therapist, which is the main utility I use. Okay. As you can see, the label says makes managing your Dwarf jobs and psychology easy. Okay. You see why it's so useful, and that's it. So let's start. Yes, it's very useful feature, Gavin. Um, Also, as I said, I don't consider it cheating because you just do automatically something you could do manually, just make things easier. That's all. But yes, also, um, I caught news of it watching a video or a small series by Cracksmash. He did a small hamlet with just two or three dwarves, and basically he said that he achieved that by expelling all the other dwarves, but it was quite tedious, and in the end a few dwarves slipped in anyway. In the comments someone mentioned, oh, well, he could have used um, Dwarf Fortress hack and managing manually the ini file. This is just a configuration file. You can go and open in WordPad the configuration file Dwarf Fortress and change it yourself. Then it's nothing. It's nothing special, but yes, it saves a bit of a hassle. Okay, so let's pick up where we left. Doornost. Yes. Basically, we stopped the end of spring. Okay, so this is a usual warning of the bad release of the FAQ. Sure. So, now, first thing first. As you can see here, we have some miasma going. This is because we took too long to start the production of food, so the meat we brought with us got spoiled, and we need to take it away. Now this is a very small and minimalistic setup. This is because Dwarf Fortress is all about taking care of your dwarves. As I said before, the dwarves have a mind of their own, that you just issue orders, okay, even quite general orders, okay, and they carry them out as they see fit, and just have to provide for them for their needs. So the main things you have to provide is that a shelter, some place with beds that they can sleep in, a place where they can eat, naturally all the production sites, a place where they can gather, so a meeting hall. You need also a storage room with stockpiles for different things, and that's the to start with. Now, for instance, you'll ask yourself, okay, Rico, I started, but in my starting area, in my fortress area, the weather is the climate is temperate, so I'm going to have a cold winter with snow, so I can't harvest plants all the time, or my fortress is in the desert, so I can't harvest plants at all. In that case, you need to set up as an underground farm. Okay, you can start both surface farms, or as your dwarves, you're more expected to have an underground one. You need some soil to do that, okay, or you need to make the terrain usable for crops by watering it. This is more of an advanced technique. Okay, so First of all, let's take care of the miasma over there. As just a reminder, here in the to the right, top right, we have all the commands. Okay, there are no hidden commands. You can always check the help. Okay. And all the information basically are there. Okay, so the main function is building, with B for building. Okay, this is for placing stuff, construction, workshop, but also furniture. Okay, it's where you have to place something. Okay, then you have the designation. Designation is all the, well, not all, but when you have to interact with the surrounding and change it. So, for example, mining, cutting down trees. Also, carving stairs. Okay, channel, which means, if you remember, digging the floor portion of the cell you're in. Okay, and then you have some special commands. For instance, Q lets you interact with buildings and such. As you can see, I'm moving my yellow cross, okay, up and down with my direction arrows, and it highlights the different workshop here. And then I can, for instance, add new tasks, cancel tasks, repeat, and so on. Okay, this is works for both workshops as well for placed furniture. For example, you can make bedrooms out of beds, like we saw, offices, studies by on chairs, dining room out of tables. We can interact with the stockpiles. Okay, we can change, for instance, with as the type of stockpile. We can tell our doors what we want to be placed on them and what not. Okay, that another useful thing we saw last time is the T command, view items in buildings. T, view items in buildings, which let us see the items contained in placed buildings. Okay, now for instance, workshops have already included in them a storage facility like barrel, bin, or something. So you don't have to worry about storage right away, because the dwarves using the workshop to make something will store it right there, but the space, the room available is limited, so you have to make a stockpile eventually. For instance, this carpenter shop, there are already a few items stored. Okay, there's a few barrels, an acacia barrel, 2 acacia barrels, some mango wood bean, buckets, etc. Okay, another thing that we hear, as you can see, some items have these strange symbols, okay, at the beginning and end of the name. In this case, we have the hyphen, asterisk, sorry. This is the quality of the good. Okay, if you see a name without symbols like acacia barrel like this, this is the lowest grade possible of the item. If you see symbols, it's an improved item which has a higher increased value. So using it will provide better better mood, better thoughts for the dwarves. Okay, dwarves are greedy, so they like precious things. Okay, expensive stuff. So the more expensive, the more precious an item is when they get past it, when they touch it, and when they use it, when they carry it, the better they feel. Okay. Also, when you get to barter items with merchants, this is naturally really important. Okay. So you have just a hyphen. Okay, in grade, if I remember correctly, it's just a hyphen, a plus symbol, um, an asterisk, three hyphens, and a large empty asterisk. The large empty asterisk is the best of all. It's a Mastercraft item. Uh, as an immense value. Okay, so if you want something to be, for instance, if you want to place some nice furniture to increase room value, you might want to get something of higher quality. That's it. Now let's get with the kitchen. So as you can see, we have a cave lobster with three hyphens, which so it's really high quality. Okay, let us. If you see inside some brackets like maple barrel, it means that you didn't make the item. You got it through barter, okay, or pillaging or other stuff. You didn't initially make it. So we have pine barrel, Dover biscuits, chestnut barrel, rotten raver meat biscuit. So eventually, someone either made a biscuit with rotten raven meat, or the raven meat biscuit got spoiled. Now, this is if you see something rotten, it's not good. It has to be dumped. Delicious. Well, there are some of the things these dwarves can eat. Absolutely disgusting. However, they refuse eating rotten stuff, and most importantly, it causes me asthma, and we don't want that. So, as you can see, we have some function here. So F4 forbid. If you want your doors to not touch something, leave it as it is, you press F. Okay. You get this, I don't know the English term, these brackets here. It means it doesn't belong to the fortress anymore, so the dwarves won't touch it. Okay. This is not the case, so we want to dump it. By pressing D, we'll have this purple capital D beside it. So we're telling the first idle dwarf to pick it up and dump it in our dump zone that we placed a bit north. Okay. So eventually they'll take care of that. Okay. While we here, let's take a little look here. As I told you last time, Dwarf Fortress is played on a bird view. I think it's called in English. Anyway, an overhead view. Okay. Now we're using Dwarf Hack. Dwarf Hack has this function that it let us see everything. Okay, as you can see, this area here, where this is our initial card, is the colors are solid. Okay, they're vibrant. This is the level we actually, the height level we're actually looking at. Okay. Up here to the north, you see these lightly dimmed zones. Okay, these are let's say further down, okay, further below, okay, these squares with like pyramid, okay, these are slopes. So this means that there's a slope going down to the area here, which is a little bit darker, okay, so it's of a lower height level, okay. So we can go down one level, okay. Now the area that was darkened is solid and vibrant. So this is the actual height level we are playing at right now, okay. And our card is here. This area all black means that is something that is unexplored because it's underground. Now this is a slope, okay. So basically at the same height we have a plane here, and potentially a hill over here that we could dig into, like we dug into last time to get our first shelter, okay. These are trees, okay. This is the where the what's it called, stump, okay, the trunk of the tree, okay. So this is the nearby ground where it comes up, okay. If you go up a level, we can see it has some branches, okay, some leaves, okay, more branches, more leaves. So going up we can see how tall a tree is, okay. Trees, there are, if you go with, okay, now with dot hack Dwarf Fortress hack, we can move the cursor with the mouse, and down here you see we have a description of what we're looking at, okay. So we have branches, trunk pillar, okay. It's the same if we went with K, which is the function to look around. We'd have the description on the top right corner. So thick mango tree branches. Okay, so this is a mango, so it's a tree fruit. Okay. Why should you check this? This is because trees, when you cut down a tree, it yields as much wood as the tree was large to begin with. So you might want to cut down first the older and larger trees, so and let the smaller one grow. Sorry. So to avoid ending up without trees at all, which is something that happened in one of my first fortresses. I got two trigger happy, X happy. I cut down too many trees and I ran out of woods because it takes years for trees to grow up. So you have to be careful, okay. Leave the smaller trees alone until they get bigger. Okay, so enough rambling, let's be productive. First of all, we need some storage room, okay. So we'll dig, okay, we'll dig some more. We can dig, we can make something like this, okay. Now there are many theories on how you should plan your fortress and such. Right now we are just we're just trying to provide some basic facilities for our dwarves. I wouldn't go for something big anyway, because this is just temporary. Okay, first we have to provide something basic so that our dwarves don't get too sad, okay, and stop being productive. After that, we'll start thinking about a larger fortress, better underground. We have to take one step at a time. Actually, you know what? No, 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 it's okay. We can make one here. We can also make one here. One smaller. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And that's okay. Now, instead, if we press K and we look, this floor over here is a silty clay loam cavern floor. So this is clay which is not good for starting a farm. We want some dirt, some soil. Okay, we have some siltstone. Okay, we should have some clay, lots of clay. Okay, we can start digging a little bit below. Okay, like here for instance. Now I'm using stairs. We can also use ramps. I use stairs to show you, and I'll show you again because it's one of the most confusing part of Dwarf Fortress. Okay, so when using the D command designation, basically you're digging your carving material, okay, instead of placing some construction. So in this case, we carved these stairs over here. Okay, these stairs here we carved it from the silty clay, and if you removed it, we remove it completely. So we can start with the downstairs. So with J, so we carving the floor into half of the stair going down. Basically, the stairs, think about them as made of two parts. The upper part starts on the upper floor and the lower part on the lower floor. Upper, lower, lower. So you need two parts to make a stairway. Okay, so we go down one level with angle bracket. I don't know which is current name. And here we place an upstair. Actually, we place an up down stair with I. As you can see, we have the cross. Okay, so we can eventually make another stair over here. We could do another up down so that we could go both up and down. And by that I mean that it has the upper half of the stairs I'm digging from above, and the lower, sorry, and the upper one for the new stair that I'll eventually keep dig downward. Okay, this is also a good way to know if you take one step at a time. You don't run the risk of breaching into a cavern layer. Okay, you just see at every step where you're going to, so to avoid surprises. Now we're looking for soil. I'm not seeing soil. Let me check. Building plot, farm plot. No, actually I could place it on clay. I'm pretty sure you couldn't place a farm plot on clay. So that's good. So we'll place it. You could place it here. Let me see. Okay, yes. Outside, no. As you can see, I can't start a farm plot outside. It gives me this message: no mud soil for farm. Mud is left by water. So, if you have dirt, soil, or clay, eventually you can start a farm plot. If you have some rocks, you first have to create some mud. So you have to flood the rock, and you'll end up with mud that can be used for a farm plot. Okay, good news. I was pretty positive you had to use soil. Said clay is fine. Okay, so I'm going to start my farm here. We don't need a lot of room. Okay, we'll just get this thing here, and yeah, here we can end up this stair here. So D for designation. We go over just to keep track of where it is. We select up stair with U. We go down one level and we place it. Now the designation function works that you highlight a zone, so you need to hit enter the first time. Let I show you, and then you drag basically a selection. Okay, so if I hit now, I'll have a square of 4 by 4 like this. Okay, if you want to remove a designation, you press X and you do the opposite, so, and you remove it. This is quite intuitive once you get the hang of it. Okay, and that's okay. We'll let our dwarves go crazy. As you can see, we have our expedition leader here who brought some food. Oh, by the way, and now he's digging because he's a mana. The miasma is getting crazy here, so they still have to dump the cursed raven meat biscuit. And one thing I'd like to do, this is our dining eating area. Okay, our meeting hall. I'd like to our drawers to store the food there, so I want to start a stockpile by pressing P for pile of food. F. I'll place it here. So when yes, not really happy about the raven meat. It's a coincidence, Gavin, by the way, with your nickname. Okay, so I place this stockpile here, so when our cook is done, has enough food stored in a bin or a barrel, he or she bring the barrel here. The idea is a dwarf enters the room to eat, grab the food and the drink over here, sit down, drinks, and goes away. There's a cat. Oh, by the way, strange train thought. Q. Let me check the farmers. Okay, we're okay in full production. Now is the time. Before I forget, this is the time to show you Dwarf Therapist. Okay. So we bring up the lazy new pack. We go to utilities and Dwarf Therapist. We'll double click on it. And we have it. So, Dwarf Therapist. Basically, the main things is this matrix. Okay, we have our dwarfs here in the first column. Okay, um, icons telling us what they're doing right now, the current job, the level of happiness. Okay, so this is a stress level. Okay, so the lower it is, the better it is. In this case, Ficod Alakir is doing fine, exceptionally fine. The stress level is minus 1.3k, which is really good. Okay, that's fine. We also get to know something about her. Within the last week, she felt bliss, dining in a very good dining room, satisfied upon improving carpentry, satisfied at work 14 times, and disgust after retching on miasma. Nobody likes miasma. Then we have, okay, wait, unhappiness. Okay. Within the last season, she felt euphoric due to inebriation, annoyed after sleeping on rocks, annoyed at the lack of chairs, contentment after eating a fine dish, annoyed when caught in the rain, and so on and so on. So on. This is a fine tool to check right in real time how the duos are doing. So Kivish Office Sinish is doing fine, not as good as Ficod. Okay. Lore is doing very well. Okay. All good. Okay. Then you got other information. If you hover over the name, you get the full character sheet. Okay. So the race, the age, size, okay, profession, happiness, the all the skills with also how many experience points the dwarf has reached to the point. So you get a lot of information. You also get information on personality, okay, and preferences. Okay, this is a very fast way to check your dwarves. Okay, so profession, then you have all the different skills, okay, and some numbers, and some the numbers are the level, okay, of skill reached by the dwarf. Okay, there are 20 levels. I think your starting dwarfs, I th- I think it's 3 points, or the all the skills you pay for on the prepare for your journey carefully screen. You start with the 3 points. Okay. Anyway, 4 points is already decent. Is skilled. It's a good skill. If I remember correctly, there are 10 basic skill levels. Okay, 10th is master. Then you have some master, grandmaster, and the last 5 levels or 6 levels is legendary. So already getting to 5 or 6 is usually enough to be quite competent in the skill. Okay, as you can see, for instance, Thikut, okay, who is a little stressed, has 19 points of stress, is a chief medical dwarf. Okay, um, mostly because he slept on the grass and was caught in the rain and had to drink without using a goblet. Okay, so it was a bit unlucky. He has some basic skills on. No, actually, I stand correct. I didn't remember. Probably, I gave them 3 points at maximum, and I already gained one level. Okay. Anyway, to the point. This is a matrix that shows how the different jobs are handled by your dwarves. Yes, it's basically from what I've saw from civilian stream, because I never played Rimworld. Yes, this is basically Rimworld as this already integrated in game. Okay, the thing is already in Dwarf Fortress, but it's quite a pain to use. So this the Steam version of Dwarf Fortress basically will have all these quality of life features already integrated. That's the largest the biggest improvement. So what I recommend, what I suggest, is to have at least a dwarf being able to do sorry to have your drawers being able to cover all the possible works. Okay, so right now we have some works that are not, some jobs that are not covered, and we'll get to it. So let's check mining. We have two good miners. Okay, carpenter, we have a good carpenter. We don't have a bowyer. Okay, so we could pick Ficot because bowery and carpentry maybe goes hand in hand. As you can see, these are the pending changes. This is the list of changes that will be integrated in the game when you press commit changes. So first we set things up and then we press commit changes. Wood cutting, we have one. Okay, and that's okay. Wood crafting. Okay, wood crafting is crafting small things with wood, like cups or decorative items. Okay, small small statues, amulets, things. Masonry is crafting large things with rocks, such as rock tables, rock doors, things like that. Stone detailing. Stone detailing is we'll have all the dwarves doing this. Basically, when you reach stone layer and you carve into the stone layer, you get to smooth out the stone to make it polished, to make it more refined. After that, you can even engrave it, so embellish it with engravings, which naturally will improve the mood of the dwarves passing by. This is an excellent skill and labor to have your dwarves to work on, because it usually improve the moods of most of the dwarves. Keep them busy, then they're happy, because when they pass by, they can see the piece of art they made, and they'll be happy, and they show off, and so on, so on, so on. Stone crafting is making small things with stone. Right now we have Matbot, who has I'd say go with Kiwi Shower, just because he works. Now I don't know the exact interaction between skills. I know there are some kind of interaction, like for instance, the latest editions of Dungeons and Dragons, where you get proficiency bonus because, well, not fifth edition, but third edition. Remember, you can get a bonus to medicine if you have at least 5 grades in herbalism, such of things. From what I've heard, there's something like that in Dwarf Fortress as well. Okay, so having a mason doing stone crafting should be better than having a carpenter doing stone crafting, while neither of them have the skills in stone crafting. Animal care is turning to the animals, taking them to pastures, feeding them, and so on. You just need one person. Animal training is to train them if you need to train them for uh, like having hunting dogs or war dogs. Okay, hunting right now we can skip it. Okay, also because you need to have bows and arrows or crossbows to hunt animals. Trapping is basically the same. Small animal dissection. Again, we're not catching, but we could use. Let's see, someone who's doing a fish dissection. Okay. Oh, it's our also gelding. It's our it's our surgeon, so it gets to practice. He or she. He gets to work on to practice his skills on animals. Okay. Get suturing. Okay. Farming. We could have. Well, one is enough. Soaping. Let's see. Soaping is to make. You need soap. Okay, soap is important because you need to wash wounds or dirt if someone gets very dirty, or you get infection most of the times are lethal, so you want to be sure you don't have them. Potash if you have some word burning, other things required for some particular crafts. Lye making, same. Milling, just have someone do it. Pressing, for instance, you can press crushed seeds to get some oil, or honeycombs to get honey. Plant gathering is gathering plants from the wild. Okay, three people are enough. Plant processing is storing the plants so that they can last longer, for instance, in bags or other containers. We have one brewer and we have one cook, one milker, cheesemaker. Okay, butchery. Guess what? Yes, we'll have our. Sorry, I guess like I have to close Discord here. Butcher will get our yes, our chief medic. Tanning. Let's see. You don't seem to be our weaponsmith. Why not? Leather working, bone carving. This is just stuff things. It's just that we don't have production getting coming to a halt because we forgot to assign a profession. Okay. Later, what you want in the end is to have your dwarves to be focused on a few, 2 or 3 jobs. Okay, so that if there's need of them, they get to work. Okay, if you don't need them, they can relax, take some time off, reading, studying, praying, such things. Oh, time off. Dwarves don't like sitting idling. But if you can provide some different activity, non-job related, that would be awesome for them. Glass making, we are shearing, spinning, weaving, clothsmithing, dyeing, strand extraction, something that happens in the end game. So pottering, glazing, mechanic, engineering. Okay, pump operating, you might end up with a pump if you want to pump paper making, bookbinding. Okay, these are the hauling jobs, so hauling items. Okay, the other thing you should pay attention is um, burial. Okay, because you have to handle that dwarfs, and some more sensitive souls won't react very well to that. So stress dwarfs or dwarfs that look to be if easily impressed by dead bodies, you might want to remove this job from them. Also, if you want some dwarves later on to focus on production activities, simply remove most of the hauling jobs, so they don't waste time hauling goods up and down, and they can focus on working. Okay, that's okay. So we can commit changes. Perfect. Other tabs very quickly. The military shows the characteristics, like think about a D&D character. Okay, their skill, the combat skills. If you remember, we had dwarf being an X-Men, the shield user, who's going to be our in the future probably our militia captain. Other skills, these are complementary skills, for instance entertainment skills, social skills, and so these usually they get developed during the game. Your seven starting dwarves usually are very poor at this unless you decide to specialize them. Planning ahead, indeed. um, So eventually, the first migrants you get will be better than them in this, so don't fret on it. Attributes, again, as I told you in the first stream, the attributes get usually improved with along with the skills, very physical. What can I say? Exhausting skills like mining, wood cutting will increase endurance and strength, for instance. Okay, which in turn are excellent attributes for warriors and fighters. Roles, this is basically the general profession that it identifies the dwarf. Okay, for instance, we have two miners. Okay, these are points that go from 1 to 100. So for instance, Ficod Alathkir is a 98% miner. Okay, so it's very good. You can see how this rating is calculated, but it's just finally animals. This is another tab that you might check. Here you can select if you want an animal to be butchered, to be gelded, okay, or if you want to be caged, if you have cages. Okay, so another quality of life improvement. Gelding might be important is to some animals like rabbits and cats, uh, they tend to okay, they cause problem of all populations. So you might want to take some drastic decisions. Okay, in this case, for instance, we have a couple of alpacas, a male and a female, and a couple of dogs. Okay, male and female. Hopefully they'll breed some new they'll breed. Okay. Alpacas are excellent for fourth, wool, okay, and milk. So we get some cheese and some wool. Clothing is something very important. There's nothing that can break a dwarf like having old clothes or even wearing ragged clothes. So you don't want to be without clothes too long. By the way, since we are here, we could build a workshop. So we have to talking about clothing. The farmer shop is used to um, make the cloth out of vegetable thread, okay, like pigtails, or animal origin, like wool, okay. But to make actual cloth, you need a way. What is it? A loom. So we'll place it here. We're already running out of space here. Okay. We'll use some rambutan wood log. Okay, so we're going to expand. So change of plan. I remove this designation, and instead I have to mine some more here. Now, as you can see, we're having a problem here. We have just 7 dwarfs. There's so much to do. For instance, with you can check the roster. Okay, so Lore, the expedition leader, is about to drink. Fico, the other miner, is drinking. We have 3 dwarves storing items in stockpiles. Okay, and another dwarf drinking, and the cook is cooking. So they're all doing their best. Hauling, as I said before, might be a problem. Okay. Now, as you can see, I made this table and chair for our manager. Okay, but everyone is using it to eat. Dudes, there are 4 tables here. Okay, this is a flies. Let's see if the okay. Here we got some messages. Concert wood cabinet has completed, so we have all the wood cabinets. I'll stamp put for now with a production of small goods. So here we are getting our storage area a little better. And what about our farm? Okay, now we're still waiting. Okay. Okay. And we have 2 miners, so we have 1/3 of our population are miners, and we still have problems. Okay, finally we got the trading depot ready. So should some merchants come over. Oh, by the way, let's think ahead. We need doors. So we go to the carpenter workshop. Actually, we have a manager, so we can press J for the jobs, M manager, and Q for issue order. We can wooden door. Okay, construct wooden door. How many? At least 6. Okay, and that's it. the manager will take care of the rest, assigning the job to the dwarves who are best suited for it. It takes a bit to get used to it, okay, but just a matter of practice, really. You have struck magnetite, a metal. Okay, so, dude, why are you sleeping on the floor where there are four beds? Seriously? I don't know. Dude, why are you doing this to me? So, okay, we have our. This area here is where we're going to get our platform built. So, it's a building, so we press B. We scroll down with plus and minus, and we have farm plot. Okay, we get over. Now check here. They tell him UM to change height, K and H to change width. So pressing U, it's going to be bigger. Okay, so we press U and move it up and down until we have the height we want. Okay, then we press K to enlarge it, to make it wider. Okay, and now it's exactly the size we want. So we press enter. It's not ready yet. Okay, we have to wait until our farmer gets here and get it ready. Then we can start planting stuff. Now there it is. The dwarf is already at work. Okay, it's working. As you can see, it's ready. So let's pause it. It's a building, so we interact with it with Q, and this is it. Okay, these are the possible cultivations. Okay, these are all the commands you can follow. We can fertilize if we had some fertilizer. We don't, however. We can also do a season fertilize, so at the beginning of every season automatically a dwarf tries to fertilize. No, wait, that sounds off. Fertilizes the plot. Okay, then get spring, summer, autumn, winter. Summer is highlighted because it's the current season. We can already plan for all the year. Okay, which what we're going to farm. Okay, so starting with summer, these are the possible cultivations. Okay, cave wet, pigtails. So I'm starting with plum helmets. No, actually, I'm starting with pigtails. Pigtails, if I remember correctly, you can't farm them all year long, except unlike plum helmets. So this is summer. Let's go autumn. C. Okay, let's go with some cave wet. Winter. Dimple cup and plump helmets. Spring. Dimple cup, quarry bushes, sweet pots. Let's go with more plump helmets. Okay, now how this does farming work? Your dwarves will try to plant the crop. Okay, the more skilled they are, the better chances they have to grow the crop. Actually, okay, it's not a given. When they'll harvest the fruit, the crop, and when the vegetables used like for cooking, you get more seeds, so you get to plant them again. Naturally, you can get more seeds by bartering with merchants, and that's you what you probably going to do for the first time. Okay, so we're good to go here. Here we dig a little bit of, as you can see, what is this? Oh, rough-hewn magnetite wall. Excellent, we're striking some stone, and this is all magnetite. Perfect. Okay, so we reached a layer of stone here, so it's okay. Now digging, I dug a little bit. My advice is to do some control digging. What I usually do is start a bit far away from where my starting zone is. Okay. Oh, there are some. What is this? Show yourself. A spider monkey. Okay. Watch out for kobolds, they steal everything. Okay, and dudes, why are you still sleeping on the floor? Oh my goodness, what's your problem? To craft some more beds. Okay, wait, hang in there. Okay. And okay, we should make a stockpile. Okay, let's make a storage area for pretty much everything, so we can do a custom stockpile by pressing C. You can press T to set up the thing. So we want what do we want here? We want furniture siege, E for enable, no corpses, no refuse, stone, no, ammo, coins, bars, sure, gem, finished good, leather, cloth, not wood, shit. Okay, shit. And now we can place it. So everything that's not wood, stone, food, corpses will be stored here. Okay, this is because if you leave goods in the open, eventually thieves and robbers will take them away. You don't want that. Okay, right now, for instance, the trading depot, we're leaving it outside, but eventually we build another one inside. Okay, our food stockpile is looking good. Okay, here we have already some more room. Okay, we have a red message, don't panic. Okay, Chief Medical Dwarf can just prepare raw fish, needs unrotten raw fish. What does it mean? It means that he was preparing raw fish, okay, and he basically ran out of it, okay, because the fisherman stopped fishing. Okay, don't panic for the needs on rotten raw fish. It doesn't mean that there's rotten raw fish somewhere necessarily. Simply there's no material to work with. Okay, it appears in red. It might be scary at first. It's perfectly normal. As I was saying, usually when I want to dig to check for minerals or a new possible zone for a larger underground fortress, I usually start far away. Okay, sorry, I keep pressing A by mistake, and I built a little hut. Okay, and I start digging there. This way, should I breach into some caverns full of dangerous sentience beings and animals and such, I can close the door of the hut to prevent my dwarves from going in. By the way, now my dwarves are storing the things we got with us here. This is our cart, our vegan. Sorry, you can also remove the building, so you can dismantle it. There's no point in having it over there. Okay, you can get some wood out of it, so we'll do that. Okay, needs carpentry, so someone with the carpentry job enabled will have to come here and chop the thing down. Okay, but that's fine. Okay, so things are improving. We have our okay, our farm plot eventually. Now, since it's already summer, it's actually midsummer. Okay, it's the 5th month. We should try to get some plants, okay, for the winter. So we designate a gathering zone. So with P, sorry, with plus and minus, you can set the priorities if you want something to be done faster than other designation things. Okay, and so saying gather plants with P. Okay, as usual, you move the arrow and you create a square. So from corner to corner. Okay. Okay, we got a few things. Okay, now we got F4. 4 means that this job has a priority of 4. Okay. So we got someone to do it. Construction wooden door 6 as completed. Good. So let's place them. Door. Okay. Door needs to be placed next to a wall. Okay. We'll place it here. Place the rambutan here. Okay. And let's see now. I could place 2 here. Okay. Perfect. Okay, I see. So someone going upstairs? No. Nothing yet. Okay. Okay, our chief medical. Okay, neat and rotten cookable solid item. We ran out of cooking ingredients, so our cook stopped working. That's okay. Okay, now pressing Z or Z, you get the status. Okay. Current wealth, you need a broker, so we'll have to appoint a broker to check our inventory. Okay. Then we have some, as you can see, numbers are in brown with a question mark, so we're not really sure of how much stuff we have, so we're going to need someone. All these important people are in the noble tab with N. If If you remember, we appointed our manager last time. We have a broker, so I don't know what's. We need probably a bookkeeper. Okay. We have nobody with relevant skills. Okay. So it could still be our manager, for instance. There's no reason why the same dwarf can't have more than one noble position. By the way, the bookkeeper needs a study, so he can use the one we assign him as a manager. Okay, this should help with keeping track of what we have. So let's check our steel. The kitchen, as you can see, we have no jobs here. When you have a job on repeat assigned in the workshop and you run out of materials to do it, the job gets cancelled. Instead, if you place it in the order tab with JMQ, it stays there until you get more materials. Okay, so if you want to just say, okay, let's keep cooking until we have stuff, you can go to your kitchen, add the task, cook easy meal, place in repeat, and the cook will keep cooking until we have ingredients for that. Okay. So the still, yes, that's brew drink from plant. Let's see if we have some. Okay, we don't have. Actually, we don't have. As you can see, it's in red. We don't have plant or fruits. Okay, so we need to get some fruits. Okay, so it's a good idea to craft a step ladder. Wooden step ladder, because wood is what we have. Actually, let's make a couple. Okay, be careful with step ladders because dwarves have a bad habit of ending up on trees and not being able to come down for no reason at all. If you suddenly see a dwarf starving or being dehydrated, watch for trees, and once you locate the dwarf, cut it down, cut down the tree. Yes, you dwarfs and goats. Goats end up in the most incredible and unusual of places. But well, okay. If a goat dies on the tree, it's just a goat. If a dwarf tries, that's because he or she can't get down from a tree. That's quite silly, but okay. Also, we have designated a couple of areas to gather information. Gather in fruit. We told the dwarves to not get the fruit from the trees, but we'd better do that. Okay. Also, probably we might want to check here. We might want a few smaller areas. Okay, we'll find some trees. Okay, gather. Okay, that's usually already picked through from trees, etc., etc., etc. Okay. Now, as our breeding stock as well as our farming crop are not how can I put it, are not suitable, okay, for our needs. We have to rely on gathering some plants and fruits from the wilderness before it's autumn and winter, and we have to store them. By the way, that reminds me, we might need some storage. So some wooden bin, construct wooden bin, 4, and some wooden barrel. Okay, 4. Then we had some troubles with dwarves not being able to drink from cups or goblets, so a wooden cup. Let's make 6 more of them. We could, and that's all for now. So as you can see, this dwarf here with the step ladder is picking up some fruits from the trees, which is excellent, which means that we'll soon be able to brew some alcohol out of it, which is good. If you remember, okay, I was having a drop of bitrate apparently, which is very strange. Again, strange. Okay. Well, anyway, it's almost midnight here, so I'm not going much longer. As you can see, we have some fruit here that we need to stage. Probably need some more storage. So we can designate an area for, wait, a stockpile, a food stockpile. Food stockpile around here. By the way, stockpiles can be walked on by dwarves, so they're not preventing them from moving. Okay, you just can't place furniture over them, but oh, thank you, Gavin. Thank you. Well, comprehensive. That's nice to hear. Definitely. Okay, I'll place another stockpile of food here so we can place some stuff. A good way to end the stream. Some migrants have arrived. Wonderful. Okay, so we're not seeing them. This is usually a problem with DF hack that doesn't center. When you get migrants or hostiles, in the screen is never well centered. However, we can check with you. Okay, as you can see now, we have 8 dwarves, and Sigun Degal the Sword, the woodcutter, is a new arrival. So pressing Z or Z, we get to find him or her. Where is down here? Okay, they're coming from this corner then. Okay, either is an adequate woodcutter. He knows at dance the vulnerable trees or tress. Oh, we'll see. It's a she. Sorry, Sigun. Okay, so we get to see some dwarves arriving and some animals because they might have some pets with them. 2 dwarves. Oh, a kid, a child. 3, 4, 5. Okay. This is both good and bad because we'll need more beds, but luckily we're up to 15, 8 dwarves in total. As you can see, this here is a total of our, I'll pause it. This is our population divided by mood. So white mood is normal. Light blue, dark blue, and green are happy and content dwarfs. Yellow, red, and bright orange are unhappy dwarfs. Okay, so we want them to be white, blue, or green. Okay, right now they're not so stressed. As the time goes on, dwarves tend to forget stuff happened years before. So eventually we planted something here. Excellent. So dwarves who got upset because, for instance, they slept on the floor, okay, eventually in a couple of years they might have forgotten. So the penalty to stress, the stress accumulated because of that, will disappear. Okay, so stresses dwarf should, and I stress should, be able to recover and get better in time, and as long as they keep having good thoughts. Okay, so for instance, we can place some new beds here. We have a lot of beds actually for our dormitory, and next time we might want to work on real bedrooms. Okay, let's do a nice shape like this. No, like this. Okay. Okay, we want to be sure that every dwarf has a place to stay. Probably we use here this one downstairs, okay, to get some bedrooms. We make some very small bedrooms, okay, probably in 1 square by 3 or 4, like corridors. Like we place a bed, a cabinet, and a container, just the the minimum requirements, okay, just to keep them happy. But already having a room by themselves will definitely improve their moods. So once the situation is a little bit better, you might work on personal bedrooms. It does wonder for mood. Instead, eating rooms, okay, it's better if you can manage somehow to have your dwarves eating together, as they can socialize, and by socializing they can create new friendship, which is another thing that improves mood and fights loneliness feelings and such. Okay, I guess we are at a good point right now. Okay, these are children. These are playing by themselves. Children don't are not active until they're 12. Okay, they just play around, okay, play make believe, stuff like that. So they're mouth to feed for a while, but it's nice to have them, which means that they have the parents here. We can probably check. Okay, we can check with Z. It's Z again. Okay. Relationships are okay. The mother and father are with us. Moses Tobuluvar and Katin Mesfikot. Okay. The rest of the family, no, they're not with us. They grandparents, half sisters. This is something that came up with the latest update, with the fifth release of version open for 7. They worked on the families of the dwarfs. Then now that they have full families. And by the way, if you remember, if you start a fortress after just a few years since world creation, you might have some bugs with your dwarves not having parents, grandparents, and such. Okay, so It might be awkward. My personal advice is start a fortress 150 years after the war generation. Okay, so that your dwarves have a family, because you might get a penalty to you might get stressed because they want to be with the family, but the family is non-existent, and that's a usual dwarf fortress mess. Okay, it's midnight, so I'll stop here. I'll, I'll save the game. Okay, everyone. Thank you. Found this little stream very informative. As usual, if you're watching this on YouTube, I stream when I can. You find the link to my Twitch channel. My VODs are usually available after 2 or 3 days on YouTube. Okay, and then I'll take them off. Before that, you can find them still on Twitch. Okay, and I'm available. I have Twitter. Uh, Sometimes I remember have it, and not always have it remember. And so I'll see you next time, I guess, with another Crash Course stream. Until then, have a good time and take care. Good night.